All right. My first report I'm bringing forward has to do with structural slabs. These are for accessory detached structures. Building departments across the province use standard details to address certain construction methods that the layperson won't know. So it assists with their building permit applications. The two most popular ones that we get through the office all the time that we hand out have to do with your deck attachment details, which is attached to the report, as well as a floating slab detail. At a recent OBOA chapter meeting, we had, the speaker was Steve Adima from Tacoma Engineering, and part of the discussion that the building officials were talking about had to do with structural floating slabs. He offered to provide a detail to all the municipalities that have members in the Blue Water chapter, a floating slab detail. The floating slab, an unengineered floating slab, has construction limitations to it. Can't be more than roughly 592 square feet. Can't be more than one story, and can't contain any masonry veneer whatsoever. So you're looking at your typical small kit type accessory structures, all siding, that sort of thing. The detail that he has provided us allows applicants to go above and beyond the building code requirements as he has engineered the slab parameters that are in the design. His design work allows for a structure up to 1,600 square feet, so that's almost 3 times what the building code permits. Allows for 4 feet of masonry veneer, so that would be a masonry veneer wrap around the base of it. As well as to add attic trusses, which is essentially a second floor. It's additional loading on the slab. The reason why I'm bringing it forward to council is just to let you guys know that I wasn't hunting for a detail. He offered it to us. We have control over it, and obviously no charge to us. A typical situation that I come across is someone wants a 700 square foot floating slab. Well, I tell them they need to get it engineered. They go to an engineering firm, it's going to run them $500-600, so they scale back their project versus having a more aesthetically appealing building and the size that they want. So this will give them a little bit more flexibility. And the other reason I'm bringing it forward is, and it's required to have it, is Tacoma's logo, contact information, as well as Steve's stamp on it. So I'm just basically seeking authorization from you guys to allow me to use it for some of the permit applicants that come in, that it would apply to them, save them some money and speed things up for them.
Any questions? Okay, there's a recommendation here, and that the council of the town of Minto authorize the use of Tacoma's Engineering's typical floating slab design within the town of Minto, and allow the building department to make the design available to ratepayers, permit applicants, and contractors. We have someone move that motion. Councillor Turton, Councillor Elliott. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Great, thanks. The second thing I have in front of you is my monthly report for the month of May. For some odd reason, May was a little on the quieter side. We issued 14 permits worth a little over 400,000, which is giving us a yearly total of 54 permits worth about 5.6 million. So in the overall stats, we're still, I would say, well ahead of our 10-year average at this point. We're sitting about $750,000 more than what that average is. So I still think that we're doing good, and we're definitely looking good for stuff that's in the works. So.
Any questions of Terry? That's information only. Motion to receive it. Motion to receive that as information, Councillor Faulkner. Second, Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Carried.
Thanks.
Be quick. that automatic arm.
Okay, on to item number 7, and that's C.O. White.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Fisk. This is another site plan approval. This is for a property that we sold to, or in the process of selling to, a numbered company called 2380681 Ontario Limited. It's labeled on the site plan Grant Service Center. This also includes some proposed mini storage buildings. Procedurally, their lawyer is requesting they go through the site plan approval process before they close on the property. So we've brought the site plan forward for your consideration. This is a 390 square meter or 4,195 square foot 6-bay car automotive repair shop and a 4,500 square foot mini storage building to be built initially. There's also a car wash in this one in the future and another industrial building proposed on the plots. This is 10.5% coverage for the first 2 buildings and will be over 15% coverage when the other 2 proceed. This one has an entrance off Minto Road, which is the existing road in the Palmerston Industrial Park, and will also have 2 entrances off the proposed new road, which has not been named, but will be named under our road naming policy after a veteran, and that will provide access to the other parts of these lands. That road is slated to be built this summer. We are waiting for the final Ministry of Environment approvals, which we asked for back in December, and we're still waiting for, and we will be going to tender and getting that done this summer. The industrial zoning is M142. Council rezoned this, as you recall, to permit a mixture of commercial and industrial uses. This is kind of a buffer between the commercial front on County Road 123 and these lands, and then more general industrial to the north. So there's also a parcel to the west that will be in the same zoning, a general commercial and industrial mixed-use zone. This one is also managed using surface water management. There's very little, there's plenty of paving around the car wash and around the automotive service bay and the storage as well. The entrances will be paved. There's also some landscaping included. So there is no retention on here. There is a swale which would be to the south lot line, and there may be some on-site retention in the swales through the property, but there is council would know, a retention pond kind of in the northwest part of the industrial park. There will be full municipal services to the lot. We reviewed it at our town building, fire, public works, and perks department meeting, and there were no serious concerns with this. And we do need the land transfer to conclude, and that's in the process of happening. So our recommendation is that it be approved subject to the normal conditions, and that including the land transaction being completed.
Questions, comments? Councillor Faulkner. With the recommendation. Seconder? Councillor Turton? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Where are we now? There's a verbal report on the Lions Park.
Thank you,
Washrooms.
Mr. Deputy Mayor. We are in the process of working with the club to get that washroom facility built. We were hoping to provide you with a bit of a sketch to show you what it was looking like. CBO received it, and we talked to the Lions who are responsible for the project, and what was happening was there's going to be an adjustment to the roof lines to make it match the existing band shell, or for lack of a better word, covered it pavilion, and so that was going to come back to you, but we just wanted to make you familiar with what it might look like and get your consent to that. So what I'll do, if it's okay with council, is maybe send that out through email and so that you can see it.
Councillor
Deputy
Faulkner.
Mayor Fisk, I have a question for perhaps Terry, if I may. One of the exhibitors at FCM, a company out of Quebec, have a portable it's not portable, but they bring it in and set it on the slab, and it's vandal-proof and graffiti-proof and all that kind of stuff. My only question is, do we have an approximate cost for the one we're going to build?
I honestly haven't, I didn't look at what the cost was. I know it's on the application form, but I can't recall what they declared.
Ballpark figure?
I didn't.
I'm trying to recall the budget, I think it's 15. So maybe what we could do is, when we get the drawing, bring it back with the budget cost and show you where it's gonna be, and then you'll see it.
Sure.
That could come at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Faulkner, but wasn't the one at FCM substantially more?
Oh, yeah, it was $150,000.
That's, I thought it was 150,000, and I didn't want to quote that
We
because
should be going for that then? Well, hear me out.
it was very nice.
So do you need any further direction there?
How about we just table, if council would table that matter till next meeting?
Okay. So do we need a motion to
Yes,
table that?
please.
Thank
I'll move.
Councillor Faulkner, Councillor Turton to table item
Number 7.
8 regarding the recreation facilities, Lions Park washrooms. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Caldwell, you're going to assume the chair now?
And I would ask our treasurer, or Jeff, to come forward. We have 4 items on the treasury today, and the first one is a summary of accounts for May 23rd.
Okay, thank you, Chair Caldwell. One of our smaller ones this time. We've got a few interesting expenses, I guess. Anyway, some more work on the solar energy. Did some renovations at the incubator. That's all being paid for. Some of that's, we gained some cost recovery. Bunker gear, first order for the year on that. We're still buying sand and salt. This is some April stuff, but only 4,000 this time. Some work on our sewer manhole repairs, 32,000, and a few water meters for about 9,000. So I'm sure the next one will be a lot bigger. Anyway.
Okay, are there any questions on the report before I read the recommendation? No? The Council of the Town of Minto receives the Treasurer's report dated May 23rd, 2014 regarding approval of accounts and approves the Town of Minto accounts by department for May of 2014. Moved by Councillor Turton, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fisk. All in favor?
You're putting me to work.
Here we are.
The next item on the agenda is a March 31st financial review.
Okay, so here's our first quarter, and as I said, department heads, the weather kind of dominated everything in the first part. We have really minimal capital because we couldn't get going on too much. As our building inspector just showed, we got off to a slow start again. We've been plowing snow and working on other things, so and there's the basic transfers to reserves and reallocations that haven't been implemented yet. So it leads to showing a very positive variance, but of course we have all the transfers to do yet. And the annual insurance is not in here too, and that was close to $250,000 that we just paid a few weeks ago too. So that makes quite a difference. Nothing, like, again, other than the weather-related things, we seem to be fairly on track, given all that. And speaking of weather, I just thought, well, I'll bring you a little bit up to speed as of today, which it's bad enough the figures in here, but anyway, here's where we are. We budgeted for the 12 months, and this is net of our recoveries and all that, about $370,000 for winter control. But we now have the winter season, the winter of 2014 so far in, plus we do have money in from the county and that, and we're sitting at a net of about $425,000. So even with all that, we're about $55,000 over, and we hope we don't get snow in November, December, but every municipality's in the boat, and we kind of know this is where we're at, and we'll just have to try and keep other things in order to get our way through there. And in the next quarter, a lot of our capital things are starting to go. I think there's many files of tenders to come forward and easement work and all that. And our next phase of our Clifford and Harrison water meter project, and it'll be starting to flow in the next couple of months too. So anyway, those are the general trends. It gives you at least a window on where we are and how we're starting the year. So, any questions or?
Was there any questions? Deputy Mayor Fitz?
Through you, Chairman Caldwell, I guess under Public Works, you make the statement that it's a positive note. The machine time revenue allocation is higher by 90,000 year-to-date, which will partially offset the higher internal costs for snow plowing and removal. Is that
right.
just a paper trail,
It's a book
basically?
entry, yeah. We're no better off, but
We didn't get any money in.
No,
we
no.
transferred
Exactly.
it from one pocket to the other pocket.
Yeah, so like some of that, well, really, like we have a gross of 550,000. Well, a lot of that is our own expense. It's our guys and our
Yeah.
machine and that too. So it's, when you look at the first figures, they're not as bad as they look because some of it we just owe it to ourselves. But yeah, that's true. It's not like we got an extra grant yet. Anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And in your notes, you say that the winter control deficit will also be partly offset by the county. But in the numbers you just gave us, that includes the county.
Yeah, and so like, we budgeted roughly 80,000, and we've got 125,000, like, of actual payments received, so that's good.
From the county.
Yeah,
So that was our cost,
That was our recovery.
and they pay what our
Yeah.
costs are rather than what we agree upon
And,
or
well,
in the
and they
past.
agreed to pay a little bit more too, so that's the,
So we just have to hope for a very
Yeah, we're
mild
still
November,
there.
December of 2014.
But did I interpret the figures correctly, that the bottom line is that we're about 55,000 over budget on the snow
Yeah.
for the year?
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you, I'm actually pleased with that figure because I thought it would have been more.
yeah, at least these
Thanks,
other
good job.
revenue things. do
But
it.
we do have to get through October to December,
Oh, yeah.
that's the issue.
That's, you can't do anything about the weather.
No, we
I think
can't.
I
No.
think that's great.
Like, even on the macro level, if you see Canada as a whole,
Oh.
our growth or our economic activity of the first quarter was really low. It's, people are at home shoveling their driveway, and anyway, just pent-up demand.
Councillor Faulkner, Elliott.
Yeah, thank you for, I don't know whether that's a thank you or not, being mistaken for Councillor Faulkner.
Same first name.
On the road tour with the county, I was talking to the roads people, and they spent all their budget. They have a big reserve that they put forward, and I can't, dollars and cents have gone past me, but they had a big reserve that they expected to cover that. They spent that, and now they're into a huge deficit on top of that.
Yeah.
And they still haven't budgeted for the rest of the year as we have. So, I mean, we did well at,
Kudos.
yeah, to stay at 55,000 compared to the huge numbers they were talking about. And honestly, if I could guess the numbers, but that wouldn't be fair, but it's huge.
Yeah, I know.
And they did reserve a lot of money to put away, and it didn't touch the,
No, and they have all their salt and sand that they had to buy too, so.
So-
it's crazy.
so although the county did help us, they had to help a lot of communities. So. Okay.
True.
Okay. Now, there's no recommendation at this point, as it's a report for council's information only. So can we move on then, or do I need someone to accept the report?
Just to receive it, if I may.
Okay, Councillor Faulkner received the report, and seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? And then we'll move on to the Ice Storm Assistance Program report.
Yeah.
Maybe we could tag team on this one
Sure,
a
you
little
did
bit.
most of the writing, so, yeah.
Try not to sound too bitter in this.
Yeah.
We had the pleasure of 2 ice storms in 2013, one on April 12th and one on December 21st and 22nd. We've been up and down that several times in this council chamber about what happened and how well everyone responded in all those situations. We had an almost flood stacked shortly after that and a horrible winter. So if you wonder why some of these expenses are of concern, just look back on 2013. It was quite an amazing year. After the April 12th ice storm, we did file for ODRAP, and we weren't successful under that. When I say ODRAP, that means Ontario Disaster Relief Assistance. The response we got back from the minister at the time was it was only 3% of our tax-supported budget, and that wasn't enough that they felt we should be concerned about it. Costs continued to grow after that, and in fact, the cumulative impact of the 2 ice storms is now over $300,000. Back in January, after the second storm, we put together material for the Ministry of Municipal Affairs under a new ODRAP, and in fact, you passed a resolution on January 14th asking for consideration under that program, and that was the cumulative impact of 2 ice storms. That went to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and when we saw her at Roma on February 21st, she kind of mentioned at the end of the meeting that she expected something good to be coming forward. And in fact, shortly after that, February 26th, they announced the $190 million one-time ice storm assistance program. That came with a term subject to federal participation or reimbursement on the program. Shortly after that, that provincial minister resigned, and March 26th, there was a new Minister of Municipal Affairs. And then out came the Ice Storm Assistance Program of April 10th. And those the fact sheet is attached to your report, and we go through the details of that. A couple of red flags here. It talks about one-time special program to assist with damage as a result of the December 2013 ice storm. So not sure where the program on cumulative impact went. We're hopeful that when we submit all our bills for the entire program, that all the ice storms, that they will see fit to support the fact that we had 2, and the reason our damage was maybe less in number 1 or number 2 is because most of the trees fell in number 1. So it mentions in the program that if council has already passed a resolution for ODRAP, that we don't have to pass a second resolution, but we have included a second resolution just in case. And the other section of that resolution is that we delegate to the treasurer the authority to submit our claims just in case the municipality moves into a lame duck situation after the nomination period. For our election, of course, the province is in their own lame duck period right now. So I'm not sure whether this is affecting the continuity between the 2 programs or not. There was some speculation amongst the staff at the county level and some of the CAOs and so forth that maybe this was independent of our cumulative impact application, but we really haven't been able to clarify that. So now what has to happen by June 16th, treasurer has to submit a whole new series of stuff, most of which we hope is the same stuff we already gave them, and we'll see if we can't. Actually, he has to submit a letter of interest, and then the stuff has to come in by the end of August. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of conflicting deadlines, and last Thursday at 4:30, some more information came, and it just kind of re-emphasized that this is for the December 21st, 22nd ice storm, and that all our expenses are supposed to be done by June 22nd, and we've debated there, as you know, there's still rural cleanup, but we don't feel that it's possible or responsible to go ahead and get some contractors in the next week with, no guarantee or minimal hope of getting some reimbursement. So I don't think we're going to do that too. So we're going to go ahead, put what we can in this June 16th expression of interest, and we'll do the December one. But as we say, the December one, even including some invoices we just received last week, is only about 120,000, but the cumulative is well over 300,000. So I think somehow we're going to try and again submit that you have to look beyond just those 2 days. The April one had a significant impact too. So anyway, we'll put it in. We certainly don't have it in the budget, so if we get it, great. But we'll just have to follow through the hoops and see where we go. Anyway.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, then the recommendation is the Council of the Town of Minto receive the CAO Clerk's Report dated May 29, 2014, regarding the Provincial Ice Storm Assistance Program, and that council adopt the following resolution. Whereas the town of Minto experienced extraordinary damages as a result of ice storms in 2013, including expenses related to incremental costs incurred to protect public health and safety, to provide access to municipal roads, sidewalks, and frequently traveled routes, and for emergency response and recovery, including debris cleanup to protect public health and safety. Now therefore, the Town of Minto Council hereby requests provincial assistance under the Ice Storm Relief Program and hereby delegates the authority of the Treasurer to submit claims to the Provincial Ice Storm Assistance Program on behalf of the Town of Minto. Would someone move that resolution, please? Councillor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? And it's passed. And our final item on the Financial Committee agenda is the Red Creative Industry Incubator Funding Agreement.
Okay, and this was a much more straightforward, not to say it wasn't a detailed application, but at least it's similar to what we've had in the past, and the criteria is a little more clear. So we were successful in getting $37,500 in funding. It's roughly spread between the 2 fiscal years of the province, so $18,750 for each year. And we now have the agreement ready, and there's a bylaw later on that council can sign, and that would bind us to the terms of those agreements, and we would start to receive the money after we pay the bills. It's a more traditional one, whereas we pay it, send in the claims, and get the money back later.
And does anyone have any questions? Okay, the recommendation is that the Council of the Town of Minto receives the Treasurer's May 29th, 2014 report regarding the Rural Economic Development Program, Minto Creative Industry Incubator Funding Agreement, and considers the bylaw in regular session. Someone move the report, please. Deputy Mayor Fisk, seconded by Councillor Turton. All in favor? Thank you.
Great,
and thank you very much, Gord.
Pardon?
I turn the chair back to you, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Caldwell. We'll move on to item 13. Councillor Turton will assume the chair to deal with public works issues.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Fisk. We have one item on the Public Works agenda for today, and I'd like to welcome our Public Works Director. We want to talk about the sewage treatment plants in Minto, and I'll ask Brian to go ahead and explain.
Thank you, Chair Turton. Back in April, Council considered a report regarding maternity leave, source water protection, etc. Included in this report was a suggestion that Public Works Department is preparing to assume responsibility for operation of the town's wastewater treatment facilities at the end of the year. I would like to proceed with hiring and training a wastewater operator position immediately to ensure we are ready to proceed January 1st of 2014. We currently have 4 members excuse me, in the department that are trained both in water and wastewater, which allows a crossover mutual support between the 2 divisions. We are also expecting a federally introduced QMS system like we see in our water system. While we're not proceeding at this time, a dedicated Public Works administrative support position should be considered to ensure these quality management systems needs are addressed. Currently, this position is shared with Treasury. These organizational changes are able to fund from existing budgets and grants, so there is no significant increase to our 2015 or future budgets. A final organizational chart will be presented later this year by CAO White. So, any questions?
Any questions for Brian? Hearing none, we'll go to the recommendation. The council receives the CAO clerk and Public Works Director report dated May 27th, 2014, regarding the assumption of the sewage plant operations, and the staff proceed with posting according to the town's hiring policy for a water and sewer operator and to commence training for the assumption of the plant operations at Clifford, Hairston Lagoons, and the Palmerston wastewater treatment plant. Can I have a motion and a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Caldwell. Deputy Mayor Fisk. No other questions? I'm gonna call the question. Oh, sorry, one more thing.
No, I just
Brian?
wanted to remind council of the tour coming up, the road tour.
Monday.
Yep, 8 AM.
Okay.
So
All in favor of this motion? Against? That's carried. So, yeah, Monday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. is the road tour. So if those of you that haven't spoke to Brian or one of his colleagues to say whether you're coming or not, it'd be a good time to let him know, because I think Brian is buying the coffee and donuts. At least that's what I heard. So I'll pass the chair back to you, Deputy Mayor Fisk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turton. We'll now move on to additional items disclosed as other business. We'll start at the far end with Councillor Elliott.
Just pretty excited about our party in the park coming this Saturday. Everything's get set. Actually, the guys were back behind my place putting up the fence as we speak. Looks like it's going to be like 26 or 27 degrees, and it shows full sun. So it looks like everything's going to be outside, and we're very excited about it. I just want to clarify one thing. There's been some talk out there that maybe that this is being run by a promoter, and that promoter is going to make the money out of it. But I want to clearly say that it's our local groups, the Northern Theatre Board and the Palmerston Lions, are going to be recipient of all the cash that comes back in, and are going to put it back into the community, which we always do. And we're really looking forward to it. Everybody's lined up. We've talked to all our bands and people that are coming. They're pretty excited about it. I was talking to Jamie. Jamie says he's been excited about it and really promoting it for us. So it's a good thing for our town, and I hope that most of you councillors could make it over and at least make an appearance and say hello to a few people in our town. And I think it's going to have a lot of outside community people coming in too. So that's all I have.
Good, thank you. And now for the major item from Councillor
I was
Faulkner.
hoping you'd forget that word. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Fisk. Before I start, I want to make it really clear that this is not in any way a criticism of our staff or neglect or anything like that in respect to our cemetery, because I know you know how proud I am of our staff and how hard they work. I do strongly feel that there's a need for extra care to be given to our cemeteries. I have walked all three, and there is a definite need for some TLC. And before I continue with a business case or bring a recommendation forward, I would ask Public Works for a report on cemetery maintenance procedure and standards, and to be brought forward, and then I will consider the information received at that time for what avenue I'm going to take from then on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, just a little further to that, I had someone ask me when they were going to cut the grass at the cemetery, so I haven't been out there. I don't know if it's getting long or if it's being cut regularly or...
Well, I know Clifford was done, I think yesterday, I think they're in Hairston.
Okay, well, it was Hairston that they were wondering about, so...
Yeah, I think they're in this.
They seem to be able to stay on top of things?
This was the first complaint I've ever heard.
Okay.
This year.
All right, well, hopefully it was a one-of. C.A. White.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, did you want a motion that that report come back?
You want to
That
make
way
it?
it's in the record?
Yes, please. And I would make that a motion.
So you have the details, or you know
Yep.
basically what's
Yes.
requested? We have a seconder for that?
Second that.
Second by Councillor Elliott. Any discussion, questions, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. David, you had the other major,
It is certainly not major. I was just kind of like to extend what Ron was saying about a festival or whatever you want to call it in our community on June 14th. There's all kinds of things going on in Palmerston. There's lots of things going on in in Hairston, the whole town of Minto. It's a busy spot, but I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to the Heritage Days in Hairston on the 14th, the car show and a whole bunch of stuff. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, check our websites for the whole summer, and I think that's the way to go. But I wanted to speak on the Hairston Kinsman Club are having a beef barbecue, and I just happen to have some tickets, so thank you.
thank you, Councillor Turton. I have a couple. One of them is I need my memory jog. Did we pass a resolution for FCM regarding affordable housing some time ago? Because there have only been 170, I think, across Canada, and there's something like 3,500 municipalities. So they stressed that it's really important that the municipalities show support for that, because it's a major problem in this country. And it was mentioned that in order to have economic development, you have to have affordable housing. So we're strong in economic development, so we should be supporting affordable housing as well.
I will confirm that, Mr. Deputy Mayor, but I believe
I
we
was
did.
pretty sure we had, but my memory isn't very good, and my notes are worse. And then the other one is, in my package, I received a letter from the Historical Society. Should we deal with that at this time?
If I may, I wrote them back and extended the rent forgiveness date to the end of July, which is what they asked for.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're dealing with that internally.
So I guess just for the benefit of the rest of the council, they didn't get back in as soon as they would, and we had forgiven them rent up till the end of March or whatever, and it was yet another month before they got back there. So the letter's just asking that they be given credit for the months that they weren't able to be in there, and it looks like it's being handled, so. All right, I guess we're into, sorry,
Sorry, I
Councillor
just did
Cullen.
have one item. As everyone knows, a week ago Monday, on the 26th of May, I was in the big bike ride. And I just want to say once again, we can be very proud of our Hairston Heartbeats. Yes, that's what we were called, the Hairston Heartbeats. There was 29 people, and we raised $5,425.
Good job.
Really good job. We had a great time. The only thing that was a touch disappointing is there wasn't a soul on the main street. And we thought if there was a way next year that maybe council or the media could pick up on it and advertise it a little. We were making a lot of noise, but no one was talking back to us. So it would be really great if there could be some participation.
I have a recommendation. You should change your name to the Hairston Heartthrobs, and then
And then they
the
all
streets
come
will
out.
be loaded.
I personally saw you working out and stretching and getting ready for that. You were there first, running around, trying to get prepared.
That was just to make sure I got in the back seat so I didn't have to return.
Okay, we're going to move on now to, moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Faulkner, that the Committee of the Whole convenes into the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, sorry, sign that, yeah. I will act as the chair for this public hearing. And public hearing publicly states, any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. The public hearing is to consider minor variance application file number A6-14, Steve Hummel. And we'll call on Secretary Treasurer to present the information.
Thank you, Chair Fisk. The subject property is legally described as Lot 20, Concession 11, Plan 11801, Parts 1 and 2, on Main Street West in Palmerston. The purpose and effect is to permit construction of a 371.5 square meter or nearly 4,000 square foot townhouse with an exterior side yard setback of 5.8 meters or 19 feet and a corner lot frontage of 13.16 meters or 43.17 feet, whereas section 13.2.1.5 and 13.2.1.2 of the town's zoning bylaw requires a minimum exterior side yard of 7.6 meters or 24.9 feet and a minimum corner lot frontage of 14 meters or 45.93 feet. Notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the lands and applicable agencies and posted on the property May 23rd. Town of Minto staff met to discuss the application, and the clerk's assistant report attached summarizes the discussion. It has a recommendation that the committee permit the variance with the exterior side yard and corner lot frontage proposed. That subject to site plan approval applying so that servicing, grading, drainage, and access to rear yards can be addressed to the satisfaction of the town. County of Wellington Junior Planner James Pickard comments stated the variance is being sought to allow a reduction to the minimum exterior side yard setback and minimum corner lot frontage requirements as set out in the zoning bylaw. The variance requested will provide relief to allow construction of a 6-unit street townhouse. The application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the lands. We have no concern with the relief requested, and the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority had no concerns.
The applicant has anything to add to this? Wish to comment or address the council? Come forward to the mic, please.
Yeah, I'm a builder that's registered with Terry on warranty. The particular lot that we're asking for is an exterior side yard to an unopened road allowance. We're asking for reduction in footage from 24.9 to roughly 19 feet. I just heard recommendations that somehow the committee wanted a site plan approval, but this is less than fourplex. This is only 3 on this particular property. It's actually zoned on this particular property for 6.
Yeah,
And there's 2 properties, so there would be 6 each is the zoning for it. I don't think that would be necessary to do site plan approval, considering the timeline for that. It's minimal. I don't see that it would be a problem.
Okay. You have any comment on that, C.O. White?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's just a recommendation, so the committee hasn't included that as a condition yet. The site plan approval process doesn't really take all that long here, so within a couple weeks or so.
There's funding involved in, or fees involved in that,
There's an
no?
application fee and it comes to council for approval, but there's some issues with drainage and grading and servicing that we think we need to talk to you about from a staffing perspective, and so we'd like to get you meeting with our public works people. So that's why that condition is in there.
Okay. Well, I don't mind meeting with the public works, sir. We've had Ben Harton do an elevation drawing on it already, so.
Okay, any comments or questions from council of the
I
applicant?
have Deputy Mayor Fisk.
Councillor Faulkner?
I believe I read the location correctly. It's right across from Dobson's, correct? And how close, 2 questions. How close is it to the set of townhouses that's already there, the gray,
Oh, that sixplex there?
the sixplex?
That Arnold Rump, I believe. He's on the other side of the unopened road allowance.
Oh, on the other side. Okay, that's
There's
where
an
it is.
unopened road
Okay,
allowance
yeah.
that has a sewage thing running through there. So the exterior side yard that we're asking for is not really beside a road.
Right, right.
It's all grassed.
And aesthetically, like, this is going to be perpendicular to his unit, correct?
These will be facing the street.
Yes.
All the driveways.
Yes, so aesthetically, it's going to be substantially different than Mr.
Yeah.
Rump's.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's also my understanding that that road will never be open, so,
Well, we don't
That-
say never, but
well,
yes.
where is it going to
Yes.
go, I guess? So, that's probably
Yeah,
to your
so-
benefit as well, that
And
there-
that's why we thought it shouldn't be much of a problem, is
Yeah.
because it's all a grassed area.
Councillor Elliott.
Have you any thoughts about the clientele that would be
I'm hoping to rent them out to the elderly, that's
Okay.
seniors.
seniors?
That's
Same
my
as what, it'd
hopes.
be the same idea of what we've had in our, in kind of those townhouses we
Yes.
have in town now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Anything else? You have any questions of us, Steve, or
No,
covered it?
I think so.
Okay, well, thank you. Terry, do you have anything to add? Any comments?
Nothing in addition to the report.
No, okay. Any persons wishing to address the Committee of Adjustment, please direct your questions through me and come to the mic if there are any.
Hi, I'm Matthew Webster. I'm a chiropractor, and our office, I'm representing our office, which is next door to the other property, which is next to that one. And then I'm Mike Dobson. So I guess our only concern isn't really with the property or what he's proposing. We're wondering about the boulevard, and right now the boulevard is paved. And our office and Mike's business occasionally uses it for parking, and we'd be concerned that it might get turned into grass, because the building that you were asking about, the other sixplex on the other side of that road allowance, used to be partially paved and is now grass. And we're kind of landlocked right now, and there's about 8 healthcare professionals, so if that ends up being turned from paving into grass, parking is going to be a major issue. So that was our concern. We don't have any concern with the request.
So you don't have adequate parking at your facility then, is that?
Yeah, we're kind of stuck right now.
CO White?
From the looks of this drawing, if I may, through you, Mr. Chair, there'll be 3 driveways taking up probably, there'll be at least probably 20 feet wide minimum, 24 feet. So of that entire frontage, you've got 72 feet of driveway. So there won't be a lot of room for parking
Okay.
there, the way this is designed right now.
Yeah, we weren't sure what the design was. It's just, if it was remaining mostly boulevard, or I guess being town property, we're gonna see what the chances.
CBO Peppers.
Under a parking bylaw, there is also a required setback for parking vehicles from the edge of the driveway, and that's for visual purposes in terms of turning in and out. I can't see there's gonna be a whole lot of room left for parking.
Okay.
That wasn't what you wanted to hear, I don't suppose.
Not really, but we thought we'd better just come.
No,
and see
no,
what
that's-
the
good for you.
plans were, and
That's why we have these meetings, just for that very reason, so.
We're also in front of the road allowance there. If they make it grass between the driveways or whatever that they're putting in, is the town gonna make it grass where the road allowance is? Because that's also a paved boulevard too, and parking spaces.
CO White.
That detail will come in the site plan, so I'm not entirely sure it will. Excuse me. I think there's a sidewalk there as well, or a gravel sidewalk, and that has to be it'll all have to be finished one way or the other. So that would be one of the things that we would want to see on the drawing. I don't think that I have that answer here. That's where Public Works do. They want the grass, or?
It'll probably be grass area, but I'd have to have a couple of.
Would they be doing the grass in front of the town property of the unopened road allowance? That's asphalt now?
I have to have a sign, because I was there for 50
Yeah, okay.
So, CO White.
The developer will probably be interested in only doing work in front of his property. If we're taking anything out on the other, would that be at our expense? And I don't think we could likely convince them, so I'm guessing that might not change, unless we want to go in and do it ourselves. So I think it's your wish that it does stay as it is.
We'd like to see as
Yeah.
much parking on there as can be, trucks that come into our place that they're, stopping in to look at trucks or look at other things at our place, and there's no parking. If they park on the side of Main Street in Palmerston, it's gonna be a little congested down there because there's no other parking other than on the paved boulevard.
So, since we're in committee of adjustment, committee can only impose conditions related to the variances, so my concern would be some of these things maybe you can't force him to comply with. But it's an issue that we can look at when the site plan comes, but not necessarily force the developer to do anything here if you're inclined to approve the variance. The other issue with that is you got residential on the other side, so you got 66 feet of pavement. Anyway, I don't think we'll be determining tonight what we do with that boulevard, but we should see it in the site plan. And
Yeah.
Across the road is not residential, it's all commercial, and there's no parking on the other side of the road, on the north side of the road.
yeah, I meant across the unopened road allowance. Yeah. This is the residential, I think, that we're right.
Yeah, parking not taken with.
So as this process moves along, we will be keeping them informed as to what's happening, or just our decision?
Well, if I may, I think you're in committee of adjustment, so you should make a decision on the application. If you wanted to make a resolution that we also look at the boulevard, independent of your decision on this, then I think you could do that. The strange thing is you're committee of adjustment, you're also council, so you're making a resolution to yourself, but that would put it on the record that you want that looked at.
Okay.
There may be others here that want to speak on the variance, so you have to make a determination whether you want to approve it or not.
Any comments from council, or how do you want to approach
One thing
that?
clarified through you, Deputy Mayor Fisk. So I take it you're in with Dr. McLaughlin? Right.
Yeah.
And so that there's still one open lot then between this proposal and your spot?
As far as I understand for now.
This property has been separated into two lots. What we're doing is putting a triplex on each lot, on the lot line. But the one we're talking about is, I think, unopened road allowance.
No, I realize that.
So that will not be an open, it won't be an empty lot, I think. There will be another three on that side, together there will be six.
What it says.
So it will be filled,
Okay.
it's filling a lot up.
Yeah, okay. Yep, got it now, thanks.
And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, we don't have any issue with the proposal or anything. We were just more concerned about the boulevard.
Yep, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Fisk,
Councillor
thank you.
Turton.
One question, Matt, Mike, do you have any other, is there any other options down there for parking? Like, we've talked,
There's some boulevard that's paved in front of our building, but I don't know if we get many more cars in there. I usually park there as it is to try and save the spaces in behind for patients, so I don't have to walk too far. The denturist next door, we rent 3 spots from him as it is. There may be a possibility of using some more. Again, that's just where staff parks to keep our parking lot open more, because there's myself, 2 other doctors, a massage therapist, and 4 midwives. So there's
Holy Christmas.
some days it gets pretty busy in there.
bet.
And I think there's 11 parking spaces. And there's not really much room to expand because of the rules of, how
That's
big a
right.
parking space must actually be.
Mhm. Well,
So there's
That's a
some
problem.
minor possibilities, but
Thanks.
Okay, are we ready to proceed? Do we want to make a motion or resolution with respect to the boulevard? Which do we do first?
If there's any other, nobody else wants to.
I don't know, sorry. Sure.
Concerning that boulevard, if there was any residential built there at all, there would be a problem. Even if we fell completely in the rules, there would be a problem for their parking. I can't see how this would be related to any part of the minor variance at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if I built single-family homes, it would be the same issues. Because to park in front of a
Yeah.
home or a driveway for site reasons, you're not allowed to, so.
Yeah, I think we're in total agreement. I think we're just trying to help these fellows
Yeah,
out where we
I
can, and maybe we can't. I don't know, I guess we don't know that yet, but you're right, it has nothing to do with the
I
minor
intended on
variance.
grassing those areas if I could. That was what I had hoped for aesthetic reasons.
Mhm.
It's a home for
Yep.
seniors and,
Yep.
yeah. So, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else? Okay, we're on.
So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I have a resolution if you'd like me to read it.
Sure.
That the Committee of Adjustment approves the minor variance application by 1373580 Ontario Limited regarding the proposed minor variance A6/14 for Lot 20, Concession 11, Registered Plan 61, R11801, Parts 1 and 2, Main Street West, Palmerston, and committee permit the construction of a 371 square meter townhouse with an exterior side yard of 5.8 meters and a quarter lot frontage of 13.16, whereas the two sections of the zoning bylaw permit an exterior side yard of 7.6 meters and a corner lot frontage of 14 meters, with the following condition: that site plan approval applies so that servicing, grading, drainage, and access to rear yards are addressed to the satisfaction of the town.
We have someone move that? David, Ron Faulkner, Councillor Faulkner, sorry. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried.
So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we have that motion already pre-prepared from the other two councillors. You can see their names are on it, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Turton.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the two names you just called, but
Oh, I didn't call them.
Oh, no, I was one.
Yeah,
So it'd be Councillor Elliott instead of me.
That's fine, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
That's my mistake. You can fire me.
so now I'm going to, I'm going to give you a, pass around a decision for you to sign if you're in favor of the application as well. And then there's a statement that
Yep, I read
you
that.
read there when you're ready.
Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, please sign the request for notice of decision prior to leaving the council chambers following the meeting.
Anywhere at the top.
No further comments, I'll officially adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Turton, that the Committee of Adjustment convenes into the Town of Minto Council. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Have you signed anywhere at the top?
Where do you want me to sign? It doesn't matter.
Anywhere, right there's mine. Pass that down. Then you're into it.
Okay, moved by Councillor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2014-33, being a bylaw to amend the Town of Minto zoning bylaw 01-86, lots 10, 11, and 12, south of Main Street, lot 16, east of York Street, part of lot 17, brackets Gore, east of York Street, Walker's Plan of Palmerston, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Are there any other resolutions with any of the members? Would you, I'm looking for 18B.
We just found it.
No?
It's missing?
17. Which one? No, sir.
Do we know who was supposed to move it and second it, or is that recorded?
Councillor Curtin and Councillor
Oh, that's us.
We're missing 17 and we're missing
18A?
18A.
Who's 18A?
I just went through my paper.
Faulkner and Councillor Elliott.
So we're all on the hook here.
We passed all our stuff over to
Yeah, I have nothing in front of me.
What we could
I
do,
got nothing too.
Could we adjourn?
As well.
Can't get off that easy.
I think that's a first, isn't it?
we can do
The other ones?
do them verbally,
Okay.
and the section that you read is the section in the agenda on the back.
Right there.
Okay, so that's the first one, then we would need 18A, right?
18A, I think
18A's right there.
you did 18A already.
Okay,
Yeah,
Did you find it?
in my pile.
Councilor Faulkner?
so it's just 17 we're missing now. Stopped in
Well, you found
proceedings.
18?
So if you could do, take a motion from, who was it?
Councilor Turton and Councilor Colwell.
Yeah, I'll move that
That we
motion.
adopt the proceedings of the
Second.
committee of the whole,
Okay,
and take a vote on that.
any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Got you off the hook there, Bill.
Yeah, well, we gotta do it again yet here. So 18A, you've done 18B.
B,
There's a motion by,
Councilor Turton and Councilor Faulkner.
Oh,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
it's that bylaw.
okay, so it's bylaw 2014-34, being a bylaw to amend the Town of Minto zoning bylaw 01-86, part lot 79, concession D, 5889 Highway 9, John M. Weaver. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Okay.
Okay with C now?
Yeah, 18C I have.
Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Faulkner, that bylaw 2014-35, being a bylaw to approve a temporary road closure and no parking on Laura Street South in Hairston during Heritage Day, June 14, 2014, be introduced and read a first, second, third time, and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Turton, that bylaw 2014-36, being a bylaw to authorize the deputy mayor and CA clerk to permit the Clifford Rotary Club to restrict traffic on the Laura Street and Geddes Street in Clifford for the purposes of conducting the 2014 fundraising road toll on August 8th and 9th, 2014. Be introduced and read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Turton, that bylaw 2014-37, being a bylaw to adopt the County of Wellington Joint Municipal Election Compliance Audit Committee bylaw in terms of reference in accordance with Section 81.1 of the Municipal Elections Act 1996 as amended, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Caldwell, that bylaw 2014-38, being a bylaw to authorize the deputy mayor and CA clerk to execute an agreement with Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Rural Affairs regarding funding under the Rural Economic Development Program for the Minto Creative Industry Incubator, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Turton, second by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2014-39 being a bylaw to authorize the deputy mayor and CA clerk to execute the easement agreement with 2136357 Ontario Limited, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Faulkner, second by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2014-40, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 4, 2014 committee council meeting, be introduced and read a first, second, third time, and pass an open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
It wasn't our fault at all.
Well, it's my fault.